Hi all, this is Karthik from Design School, the place where I teach you how to design, build and customize your websites. If you are new here, consider subscribing. Let's get into today's video. In this video, I'll show you how to create an actual sticky header that behaves normally until a particular scrolling distance and then turns sticky and changes its background. So it's something like this that you see on the screen. Someone actually pinged me with this link and this is the header normally. As I scroll through, you can see another header slides in from the top. Well, this is done by using JavaScript. I'll show you how. So I achieved the same effect on my website. So it looks something like this. So this is my normal header. And as I scroll through, the new header or the other sticky header just slides in. It's quite easy. I'll show you how to do this all by using Elementor and a little bit of JavaScript by using Unlimited Elements add-on. Let's get into today's video. But before I show you how to do this, I just want you to examine this element or inspect this element. So we just clicked on this, right clicked on this and clicked on inspect. Watch what happens as I scroll through. Let's go a step back. Watch what happens as I scroll through. You can see that an additional class is being added. So they're actually hiding the sticky part until a particular scrolling distance is reached. And this is the reason why I stress on understanding basic HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Just by inspecting, I found out that this is done by JavaScript. Of course, behavior of your website, anything that deals with manipulating HTML, CSS or anything that controls the behavior on your website, on your front end, is all done by using JavaScript because HTML and CSS are dumb. Just let's scroll again and you can see this class is being shown, or this particular part is being shown when we scroll to a particular distance. As I scroll back, the class is gone from here. It's actually header appear. So that's the class responsible to show this element, and that's also the class responsible to animate this element. So that's a little bit of JavaScript. Anyway, let's go ahead and achieve the same in Elementor. You need to have Elementor Pro in order to build a header, because building a custom header and footer is a part of Elementor Pro functionality. So I assume you have Elementor Pro. Let's go ahead and build the header first so that we can customize that and add the JavaScript which is required to show or hide the sticky part. The idea is simple. Just go to theme builder. On your backend, just click on add new, select header. Let's call it sliding sticky header. Let's create a template for this. We'll basically have two parts. One is a normal part of the header and the second part is the one that shows up after a particular scrolling distance is reached. Of course, we'll add the logic for that by using JavaScript. I'll also show you how to do that. So first we'll start with our normal part. Basically, we are going to create two sections in our header. So I picked the menu. I just picked the menu that I created on the backend. I called it as footer menu. Just go to your backend, click on menus and create a new menu and then select the menu from here. If you're using the template, if you also have a header, then it's just fine. And the second most important thing that people really don't understand is how to change the height of your header. You can see that the header height when it becomes sticky is really less. This is the most important part of your design. The header's height is the minimum of the maximum element. So if your element, or you should look for the tallest widget in the section, and your header height or the section height cannot be smaller than the tallest element because it needs to accommodate those widgets by using their own space. I explained in Elementor Basics video that the column is like a container. So if you pack container with a lot of items with a lot of width, you cannot compress it beyond that. So in order to compress the height of the container, you need to create or control the height of your widgets. So when you hover over this, the image is small and it's highlighted in blue outline. And when you hover over this, even this data field is also small. But the real culprit is your menu, which is taking up a lot of vertical space. So it's the problem with your menu. and you can click on it and you can see the blue outline from here. So this is a whole widget. Click on menu, go to style, and here you can see that it has a vertical padding of 35. Now let's reduce that and you can see the header turns slick, just like that. It's that easy to create a slick header. Also, I want my logo onto the center, or you can maybe increase this to 20% based on your requirement. I'll align my logo onto the right rather than onto the left. So I have my logo here, the menu here. I don't like the pointer, so I'll change the pointer as well. So I'll click on the menu and I'll change the pointer to none, and that's it. So this is our simple header. If you want, you can change the logo. Let's actually make this header a white on black header. So it's something like this normally, or pick your own color. So we'll have a header with white background and black text color, and then we'll turn it into a black background, or in our case we'll match it with the home page of our website. So based on your own color scheme, you can tweak it. I'll just click on this, go to style, change the background to classic, and here before that I'll just change the text color so that text becomes visible. So text color, I'll change it to black. I'll also change this to black as well, and also the text within this. Let's add a white color or white kind of background, or a gray color background to this. Let's pick another image. Maybe I'll pick this logo. It's an SVG. Let's change the size to something like that. I'll click on this. So we'll have a normal header like this. We also need to change the hover color of menu. So we'll go to menu, and also the active color to black as well, or any random color that you want, or your. So that's kind of neat. Also, this particular header was a sticky header, so you just click on the section, go to advanced, and change the margin to 0, just like I did. Link all of them first, change the margin to 0. Z index, maybe you can leave it as is, or maybe you can remove this altogether. Also change the motion effects. It will be top here, just change it to none, so that the header functions normally, or the first part of the section functions normally, and in the second part we'll add the sticky header just like this. So we're kind of done with this particular header. Just change all the properties of the section. So just make the margin 0, and also change the motion effects, or remove the sticky features of this particular section that we imported from. Now let's duplicate this section one more time. We'll get a header similar to this one. Now it's your turn to pick. So you can basically design another section with whatever you want. So if you simply want to hide this particular element, just remove this from the sticky part. Change the width of this to 20 or something. And also you can position it maybe onto the center, or let's leave it onto the right. Maybe you can stretch this out, or whatever, however you like it, just do it. I think this looks kind of neat. Let's change the background. Also let's change the color of the text in this menu. So we'll bring the white color back, but first let's add a gradient background. So I'll just go to style, click on gradient, and kind of that color, just like that, so that it matches with the theme of my website. I'll go to this, I'll change the text color. You can also change typography and all those settings. Let's go to typography. Let's increase the font size a bit, not that much, just a bit. So just like that, so it kind of stands out. We're done with tweaking the sticky part of our header. So this will be the normal section or normal part of the header, and this will be the sticky part that will only show up when the user has scrolled to a particular distance. How do you do it? I told you this is done by using JavaScript. First, just give this section or the sticky section an ID. So let's call it my sticky part, or you can separate all of them by hyphens. It's your wish. So my sticky part. Let's call this my sticky part. Let's also tweak the height of this a bit more. Let's also change the size of this. Or let's actually increase the size of this a bit. So something like that. So this is the normal part, this is the sticky part. Now we need to add the JavaScript and CSS that I shared with you. I'll leave this in the first comment because we're not allowed to add JavaScript or CSS. Maybe in the description, if it's possible, I'll add it to the description of this video, or I'll just leave it in as a first comment. So just check that out. All you need to do is to install unlimited elements for Elementor add-on. You can also do this with Elementor HTML widget, but when you install script or when you put script in that, if you have WordPress active, it will throw up a 403 error. In order to avoid that and also to have more flexibility, you can just use unlimited elements add-on. So go to your dashboard. Once you install unlimited elements add-on, it's a free download from WordPress repository. I'll leave a link to that. Just click on widgets for Elementor. You just need to click on a category that you created or the category that already exists. Just click on widget and call it maybe sticky effects or whatever you want, and just click on what you've created. Just double click on the widget. Now it opens up the settings for the widget. You can also pick an icon for your widget. So maybe just pick an icon, whatever it is. The most important part is to add CSS and JavaScript. JavaScript can be as is, but here whichever ID or whichever you put here, so we just change the ID to my sticky part. You need to copy the same ID from here. Whatever you type here, it can only be text separated by hyphens or underscores. So just copy whatever ID you've given here. Open up the CSS part of your newly created widget and paste this. So it should be hash separated by your name, and the JavaScript should also be changed. So wherever you see this, just change it to the name that you've given. I'll explain what this code does. So I just clicked on update. So JavaScript is essentially looking for a scroll event. So when the user is trying to scroll, it will see if the user has scrolled more than 400 pixels. This is what this whole condition is. So this is for normal WebKit browsers, and this is for Mozilla and other browsers. Both of the conditions do the same, but different browsers have different notations. All you need to change is this value. So if you want the sticky part or this to be shown after a different scrolling distance, you can change this to whatever. I just entered 400. You can change it to whatever you want, and that's the only thing that you need to change in your code that you copy from the comment or in the description. You can also make this 800, so the user will only see the sticky part after he scrolls to a distance of 800 pixels. That's what it does. Just change it here and here. And in CSS, it's essentially making this sticky part or the second section fixed. So that's what sticky part actually does, right? And initially we'll give the top value to a negative value, so it doesn't appear in the viewport. So it's still there, but you cannot see it. This is also important. And there's a transition called top, putting an animation that's actually responsible for the slide-in effect. So we're essentially animating the top property that's responsible for this slide-in animation, and that's what this code is all about. Do anything you want, but we're just animating the top. You can also change the time for your animation. Just leave this as is. If you change the time, if you put a longer number here, the user will see the header after a delay, so you don't want that. Again, I explained CSS transitions in another video, you can check that out, and that's all you need to customize from the code. So this is the scrolling distance, and this is the CSS which is responsible for that slide-in effect, and also the CSS that is responsible to hide the element initially and show it when the user scrolls through. In JavaScript, we are essentially changing the top value from 0 to -350 pixels based on the scrolling distance. So if the scrolling distance is more than 400, we are changing the top value to 0. Essentially, we are putting it on top of our website, which means we are making it the top sticky header. But if there's no such scrolling distance, or if the user has not scrolled, or if he's scrolled back to the top, we are actually hiding the sticky part. So that's what we're going to do here, and that's it. That's all you need to remember. Now you're good to go. You can see your header in action. So we just built this header. Okay, once you finish designing the headers and also the widget that you created in Unlimited Elements, you need to refresh this page. Just update the page once and click on the widgets button. Drag in the header effects widget. The moment you drag in the header effects widget, the sticky part goes out of the box, because that's the logic, and that's the logic that we specified in JavaScript, and it's kind of working. Well, the question here is, how do you exactly edit the sticky part if you need to, and how do you identify the sticky part if you need to? It's simple. The answer is by using Elementor Navigator. So it's this button. Click on Navigator. We all know that this is header or the normal part. You can double click on this and rename it to normal part. You can double click on this to rename it to sticky part. You can also click on this to edit it. Since the sticky part needs to stay on top of the page no matter what, you can give it a z index of 10,000. I just renamed the ID to sticky panel. You can rename it to anything, and the same should be replaced in CSS and also in JavaScript. So this Unlimited Elements widget is actually hiding the element initially, and I can see the preview once I scroll through the page, just like that. The preview may not be smooth here, but you can open your actual website page. So I actually opened my home page, and this is our normal header. Let me scroll through, and there's our sticky header that we just designed. So it's that easy adding a sticky part to your website. And this is how you add slide-in header, and this has so many applications. I'll show you one more use case, and there are plenty. As I told you, this is an Elementor template. You can put anything. So if yours is a WooCommerce website, you can put add to cart or buy now buttons in the sticky part, and you can also place call to action buttons in the sticky part. Whatever you want, however you want, you can customize the sticky part. Since it's an Elementor template, it's easy to customize. Just click on update, and it in action now. So it's that easy doing the sticky header with slide-in effect just by using Elementor and a little bit of JavaScript. Again, I'll quickly revise what we've done. We've designed a section normal part and also the sticky part first in Elementor, and we've included things that we want in the sticky part, such as logo, our menu, maybe add to cart button, whatever you want. Then we've given both normal header and the sticky header a z-index of 10,000 or above, like give it a higher z-index so that it's visible on all pages, so that it won't go underneath the sections of your page. We gave sticky part ID, so it's sticky panel. The same ID should be there in JavaScript within double quotes. You have to replace this here, you have to replace it here. While creating widget, update the widget, drag the widget into the header template, and it becomes a part of the design, and that's it. So this header becomes a sliding sticky header, and we can design the sticky part with whatever features we want. When you create the widget or the unlimited elements widget on the backend, you may not see the updated version unless and until you refresh the Elementor interface or the template itself. So just click on refresh, just refresh the template once and then drag in the unlimited elements widget or the updated widget. So it will have all the recent code that you have updated here. So we just made a widget just to host our CSS and JavaScript. It doesn't need HTML because we just want this to control the behavior and a little bit of style of our sticky part. That's how we make sticky header that slides in from the top when the user scrolls to a particular distance. This value can again be customized. You can create an attribute and replace this hard-coded value with an attribute so that user can pick the scrolling distance, after which the sticky header will appear. So it's that easy. I've explained attributes in Unlimited Elements widget creator tutorial, you can watch that. That's it for now. I'll leave the code in CSS and JavaScript in the description. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to design both the headers, the sticky part and normal part. Make sure you add this widget, update Elementor interface, drag this widget into the header template, and then the sticky part goes out of the box. Make sure you make all the z indices and all the changes required to display the sticky part and normal part properly, and then that's it. That's all you need to know to make this happen.